Greetings, this is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Today's talk focuses on something I call the Hokey Pokey and the fact that Elon Musk's ADD can really affect sort of the short-term impact on the stock, but can really generate some great returns for the long term. Bonjour, wie geht's? Wie steht's noch immer aus Zweibeinen? Strasvice, ni hao ma, buongiorno, guten Tag. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Last week it was announced that we'd be installing a brand new battery backup facility in South Australia. And as I read up more on this, I was informed that Tesla, it'll take about 1 week's worth of production at the Gigafactory to cover the battery packs needed to provide this battery backup. So I was kind of surprised by this because I was thinking to myself, wow, there are 400,000 people waiting for their Model 3s right now, plus customers beyond that are not even interested because they don't want to wait a year and a half for their vehicles. And the battery packs that would be going into the Model 3s are now going into other solutions that are not Model 3s, so that that inventory line could be cut down. So this sort of pushed my mind into the whole realm of, the fact that last year, if you'll recall, the Model X was delayed by a year because the gee-whiz cool rear door features limited the ability for them to deliver the vehicle on time, and those doors slowed the delivery of the vehicle by a year. And my understanding is might have even put the company out of business because the investment had been done in it and it took so long. And as I thought about it, I've driven the vehicle and looked at the doors and I thought they were really cool. I actually think the doors are a complete waste of time, but they are very cool. They look great. And I'd encourage those who own an X to avoid using them as much as possible because you do need to use them so you know whether or not they work. But they have a duty cycle. And once you go beyond that duty cycle, you need repair work or replacement. So if I own the car, I would definitely avoid using them as much as possible and just enjoy the fact that it's a great SUV with a lot of great features and sort of limit consumption. Getting back to our primary talk relative to sort of ADD and the Hokey Pokey, what's going on right now is there's some unique demands on the battery supply for Tesla. Number one, obviously there's the Model X and the Model S for the 18650 battery. Number two, there are solutions associated with Tesla Power that Tesla is doing installs for municipalities and businesses of battery arrays and sometimes solar to go with it to help generate electricity. Both of these solutions are consuming batteries and battery packs. And when they consume those are not available to be put into vehicles. The third place where large numbers of batteries are being consumed right now, or battery packs are preparing to be consumed, is in the arena of trucks or light-duty vehicles that have now been agreed upon. And in this case, I'm arguing it's Mercedes who's benefiting from that relationship and the ability to sort of build a rapport driving towards them delivering large numbers of light and medium duty trucks, even vans, with the Tesla battery packs. So I guess what I'm hedging towards is the fact that in America there's something called the Hokey Pokey, and it's a dance where you have 4 people in there, 3 chairs, and you get to sit down after the music stops. And so the problem right now is that in terms of battery packs, it's like there are 2 chairs and there are 5 people trying to find a place to sit down. And, there just isn't enough chairs, or there isn't enough batteries to meet demands that are out there and that are legitimate. Now let's add to this in September that Tesla's about to introduce semi-trucks. And so not only do you have a limited number of chairs already and a lot of demand for those chairs, but you now have Elon introducing another customer that wants, to get in line for the chairs that are already there. And so I'm kind of surprised by that. Clearly there's a need for one or two more gigafactories to support this demand. But I'm just blown away by the fact that I want to call it an ADD situation perhaps from Elon, but he's not taking time to sort of step back and say, let's wipe out and service customers well in one arena first. He's out there establishing a broad range of solutions that Tesla's entering that are now creating rabid customers, and those customers can't be served because the batteries aren't there to serve them. And so he has his logic and strategy that he's doing. I'm claiming it's the Hokey Pokey, but it's not working out well. Another example of this whole Hokey Pokey idea that I found interesting is the fact that, to my knowledge, there are three major manufacturers other than Tesla of battery, Tesla, Panasonic, of lithium-ion batteries for cars in the world: LG, Samsung. Mercedes is starting a small and will grow to a larger effort. The issue that pops up right now in the Hokey Pokey is the fact that each of those manufacturers have commitments across a broad range of customer bases, including autos. What's interesting to me is people like Audi and some of the other manufacturers have recognized that electric is an important space to be in. The challenge, though, is that there are, let's say, 10 major manufacturers of cars around the world. Electric has been defining itself as an important place to be. The problem that seems to be arriving is, just like the Hokey Pokey that Tesla is experiencing across all the range of ways to use its battery capabilities, now you're seeing a situation where there are large manufacturers of vehicles with big brands that we know, all of whom are now trying to get inventory of batteries. And it's the same situation that we see internal to Tesla, where you have maybe 2 or 3 chairs worth of batteries available, but 10 or 11 manufacturers that need batteries, on a test basis as well as at scale in order to meet the demands of their customers. One of the most notable examples of the problem with this is GM. GM has a Chevy Bolt. Their battery packs come from Korea. When they were building their batteries, they thought the vehicle out very well in terms of the range it needed and other attributes. One of the things they didn't plan or execute very well is having the battery supply to support production at their vehicles. So not only supply, but having your own battery capacity allows you to get that supply at a cost that can make you price competitive against others that might own their own battery supply, like Tesla. So one of the GM executives pointed out, and this was a mystery to me, why it was that GM, just as they had a product in the electric vehicle that would be big in Europe and sell like hotcakes, they decided to sell their European operations. And I was kind of like, what's going on here? And it was explained that the problem they're having is that they lose money on every car they sell. So while they do want to sell them and they do want to test the marketplace, they don't want to go bankrupt. So because they don't have their own battery supply, even though they can get supply based on having vehicles out there and a relationship with the manufacturers, the marketplace for electric cars isn't giving them a price point that allows them to make money on those vehicles. So they have to stay either in a test quantity or in limited distribution in order not to get blown out. And I think this is where Tesla becomes dangerous to them, because part of the whole Model 3 experiment or strategy of Tesla was to deliver a vehicle where at scale they can make money, a 20% margin on that. And I found the margin interesting that they talked about, because it turns out that about 20% is what you would expect a manufacturer to ask as a margin on selling its product. So by Tesla taking on the headache of becoming a manufacturer now, this whole hokey pokey thing that's going on is now handed over to big manufacturers like an Audi, a GM, etc. And those big manufacturers, unless they start to work on their own gigafactories, run the risk of trying to go into the electric market with other people's batteries and then inviting themselves into bankruptcy in the process. So it just shows further why Tesla's a formidable competitor and the value of having your own gigafactory. I have heard suggestions that from many sources that it's no big deal to have your own battery facilities because it's just like any other component of a vehicle. But I don't think there are a lot of situations. I think it's an unusual situation. I look forward to covering it more. But for this show, I just think the whole issue of the hokey pokey going on and the fact that Elon Musk's mind is distributed across a broad range of vehicles, it's kind of a tricky time for Tesla because by introducing the Model 3, it's actually hurting sales of the Model S. So you're going to see, I think, downdrafts in the stock price temporarily until you can see scale of the Model 3 filling the gap of slowing sales of the Model S. Thank you for taking time out. Look forward to your comments based on what's been shared. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Please like and subscribe. Look forward to your comments. Tschüss, macht's gut, au revoir, lehitraot, choda hafez, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Thanks and have a great day. Look forward to our next discussion.